When I was 12 years old, something happened. John P. Key is my Michael Jackson. I grew up in a very churchy house. The closest we come to blues music was BBC. So that was the closest. 1996, he came to Macon, Georgia. I knew the whole show. And I knew when he got to show up, he was going to do this fake pause, like this hezzy. He was going to come back in it. So I'm in the very front. So John is watching me. I know all his ad-libs, everything. 12 years old. This is a true story. He gets to the point, he's like, oh, this kid knows one of my stuff. So in the middle of the show, he handed me the microphone. And I was like, show up! And then the whole crowd just went crazy. And then before the show, I snuck backstage, and I'm just waiting for John. As soon as he walked in the building, the security guard see me, and he's like, yo, what are you doing back here? And John's like, yo, let him stay, let him stay. And he talked to me for like 5 minutes. It felt like an hour. Yeah. He answered every question I had. And I complimented his watch. He took it off and gave it to me. And it still had a price tag on it. It's $1996, $200. He gave me his watch, and it was like, I see your necklace. It's like, next time I see you, if you ain't got my watch, I'm gonna take your necklace. And this is like, just imagine having a conversation with like Michael Jordan. And it was that big for me. And then that night I prayed a prayer at 12. And I said, God, if you give me the ability to write and produce like John P. Key, I will only do it for you. I'm gonna tell you another reason I did this album. Tasha Cobbs Leonard, my best friend, my big sister, she literally rebuked me. She called me in my office. We was in there for like 90 minutes. And she's like, yeah, the Lord told me you gotta come out of retirement and you gotta do music. And it's something you could do that no one else could do. And I'm like, yo.
Did you actually feel like you retired?
Yeah. Yeah, for sure. It's not a book on prayer. It's really a book on stewardship and alignment. The difference between a blessing and a burden is preparation. So I was praying for stuff. Even for this church, I used to be praying for a bigger building and more people. And I was frustrated, like, God, why won't you do it? Or even with my music career, like I'm praying for platform and stages and stuff. And the Lord was like, Trav, you've been praying for the wrong thing. Like, pray for wisdom. Pray for, like, my presence more than you do for my things. And so for me, I shifted. Don't pray for stuff, pray for strategy.
The Dear Future Wifey podcast has global impact. From Texas,
I have been on this journey of healing and self-discovery, and this podcast has been a vital part of my process.
Guyana,
God's establishing through you a legacy, a display of freedom found in authentic spirituality.
California,
I've learned so much as a single man through your podcast and continue to learn so much as now a married man.
Nigeria.
This is just therapy for me. You know, I've been healed. I've been strengthened in my convictions. I've understood how to do singlehood better.
Amsterdam.
The way that you've shown us how it is possible for a man to be as intentional as you are.
New Jersey.
I appreciate your vulnerability. I appreciate just being able to see that there is life after divorce.
To New York.
I am a single woman, so these episodes really give me hope and courage that God does have a husband for me.
Discover, uncover, and recover love. I'm Lateris R. Whitfield, and this is season 10 of the Dear Future Wifey podcast.
Welcome to Dear Future Wifey podcast. I'm your host, Lateris R. Whitfield. Listen, are you still shacking up with us? If you're still shacking up with us, can we get a commitment? Hit that subscription button and subscribe. Make sure you turn on your notification bell so you'll be notified about upcoming episodes. Listen, I just did the podcast recording at Forward City Church, and I said there's no way I can leave this beautiful city and this anointed place without sitting down with my brother in the faith, Travis Greene. And the reason why this is very serendipitous is because in 2018, before the Dear Future Wifey podcast even existed, I was in this situationship, and in the midst of tears, God told me to write my first Dear Future Wifey letter. And I'm gonna tell you why this is important. I'm gonna read the first paragraph. It said, Dear Future Wifey, as I lay in my queen-size bed, it's serving as a stark reminder my queen is missing. I quickly press play on my YouTube playlist of worship songs to distract me from the anticipation of spending forever with you. However, Travis Greene's You Waited instantly sends me into a morning daydream of us recording an engagement music video to this song full of double entendres of Christ's love and my love for you. I'm falling in love with the mere thought of sharing my life with your beautiful soul. I'm gonna skip all the way down to the last one, and the last paragraph says, can't wait until the day you look into my eyes with tears of joy streaming down your cheek and say, you waited. Wow. I love you, your future husband.
Wow.
Did you know when you wrote this song that it will have the amount of impact that it had on the whole world?
No, I think you can never really know. I mean, Now, granted, this came right off of the heels of a massive record that I did called The Hill. I recorded that live in 2014, released it 2015. And so on that record, you had Intentional, Made Away, Just Want You, The Hill. I mean, it was just some big records on that album. And, you know, I made even that album, you know, I wrote it, Made Away was just a miracle. My wife's water broke during the pregnancy of our first son. Her water broke at 21 weeks. And, yeah, we needed a miracle. So the kid you met, the first one that ran up to you, Jace, we needed a miracle with him. And while my wife was laying on bed rest for 2 months in 2014, I wrote the song You Made Away. And then she was able, the God literally held her womb together until the 28th week. And she had Jace at 28 weeks. He was born 2 pounds. And he was in the NICU for 2 months. And it was just a miracle.
Did you say 2 pounds?
He was 2 pounds. Yeah. So on that song, it's a real testimony. I'm in the midst of it when I wrote it, and then it would have been November 8th when we did the live recording in 2014. So he just came home in August. So he was 3 months home, and then I recorded it, and that's when I was like, my son is living, my son is breathing. It was like we were in the midst of it. And so coming off of that, there was just a ton of momentum off of that album. Fast forward to You Waited. I just had this idea of really just writing a song about the patience of God. And so I penned the song You Waited. First verse talking about, I think the first song was about the woman at the well. And then you came out of your way, you sat down to speak to me. And then the second verse was about the prodigal son. And then, you know, but no, I didn't know the song would have as much wind as it did and do what it did.
So what do you think? Like, when you think back and you look that God took that moment that you had in your life, let's not even talk about You Waited, but You Made a Way, which had me in a chokehold for years. I remember one moment I pulled over on the side of the road. I was going through one of my most financial struggles in my life, about to file bankruptcy and everything. And that song, I was like, anytime I got $1 that was unexpected, anytime, when I say $1, I mean literally like $1. I'd be like, ooh, I found this. You made a way. I just started singing. When my back was against the wall, I just started singing. I would let that song live rent free in my mind and heart, because it was such a powerful testimony. You Waited, I always applied that song to my love journey, because I knew that as I was in these dating streets trying to figure out who my wife was, that I said I want to have a heart posture of patience so that I'll wait. So what do you think about hearing that for the first time from me?
That's crazy, man. I mean,
my first Dear Future Wifey letter.
That's wild, man. That's wild. I've heard some wild stories, man, through the years. There was this one girl I met somewhere, and she said she was in a car wreck and the car flipped over like 5 times, like just tumbled and tumbled and tumbled. And her and her friend were stuck in the car. My song was playing. And as they just laid there and waited for, you know, to be rescued, they just listened to my song over and over.
What song was that?
I'm pretty sure it was You Made Away. Made Away, yeah. And she came up to me at the concert telling me about it, and I was just like, whoa. So, I mean, I've heard so many stories. I was in Ghana one time, and there was a guy who came to the show, and then the pastor, he said, man, would you mind coming to the hospital to pray? One of my members is on bed rest and believing God for a miracle for her son. And so I went and prayed over the baby, and now the baby is like, I think the baby now is probably like 9, but his name is Travis Greene.
Really? They named the baby after you?
They named him after me. They named him Travis Greene, like Ochuawa or something, you know. But it just happened.
I go with Jack and Jack Thomas. Say you got a baby out there.
It's cool. Now I think now that's like the 3rd one. But no, man, it's just. I mean, you're so gracious to share that story. You never know, man. You know, you were at our church, and someone came to you in the lobby and talked about how much your podcast has saved their lives. You know. you never know the impact of what God called you to do. And I think we'll never know.
Never know.
We'll never know. We could get all the testimonies, all the emails, all the DMs we want, but I don't think on this side of eternity we'll never know the gravity or the weight of what it is that God has called us to do.
Did you always see yourself as becoming this, I'm just going to say a gospel artist, period? Because you're playing at the church. That you see yourself, and at what stage did you say, I'm going to be a national recording artist, so that's my desire?
My whole life.
You always wanted
that? There was no plan B.
Really?
That was it. I grew up in very prophetic environments, so it was always spoken over me. I was a kid prodigy. So at about probably 8, I was playing keys for the main church. 12, I'm on organ, in services with my godfather, E. Dewey Smith.
E. Dewey Smith.
13, so my whole life I was playing. I was always like, all the other kids are like into sports, and they're like, man, this kid is really good at music. What's funny though is I didn't sing. I thought that was for like lame people. So. Like, look at those weirdos singing. So I was, back in like the 90s and like the 2000s, like the early 2000s, like the 90s. I don't know if you guys remember this, but like being a musician in a church was like, man, you was a junk. You know what I mean? You walk to the band corner with your shades on. It's like, oh, snap. You're a musician. If you're a church kid, that was like the thing.
Absolutely.
Right? If you're a drummer or a keys player or a bass player, you was like, you had status.
Yeah.
So for me, I was always like, that dude was like, oh, Trav here tonight. Oh, we about to go up. So that was my thing my whole life. I didn't start singing until I was about 21. But even as a kid, though, I would write at the house, and I would, perform around the house. So for me, I knew that's what I wanted to do.
But could you sing, always sing?
Yeah, I could, but I got better over time. I got a lot better. Like, I just breathed on it. But I was better than the average.
Yeah.
But I still had this wild dream. Even though I wasn't like singing publicly, I still had this dream. I would sit in front of the TV as a kid and watch Bobby Jones and watch John P. Key, and I had VHS, and I would just study. And yeah, everybody. What's funny, man, like even my sisters or like my best friends, you ask any of my childhood friends, like, did you know? They all have the same answer.
That they did?
Yeah, everybody's like, of course. Like,
so you wasn't singing at talent shows or nothing like that?
No. But they knew. I was very.
That's what I don't know. How would they know though? Because you never did it.
It was at the house, but they knew I was a student. They knew how studious I was, right? So it was like, man, this kid is serious. Like, I would study. Like, I would listen to CDs on my boombox, and I would break down the mechanics and like the science behind everybody. I mean, you name a song, I tell you, I could pretty much, if it's a song from the 90s or early 2000s, I know what key it's in, I know the arrangement. I mean, I geeked out over this thing.
Really?
Yeah, I was serious about it. And then when I was 12 years old, something happened. 1996, we had John P. Key. I was in Columbus, Georgia, and John Key, he had a concert there. So I went to the concert, and John P. Key is my Michael Jackson. So, I grew up in a very churchy household. We couldn't listen to blues.
Yeah.
So it was only John Key. The closest we come to blues music was BBCC. So that was the closest, I didn't love. That was the closest. I didn't know they were siblings until I was a grown man. I thought they were singing to each other. And then, so I went to John Key concert in Columbus, Georgia. A couple months later, he came to Macon, Georgia. Same concert, so I knew the show. I knew the whole show. And I knew when he got the show up, he was going to do this fake pause, like this hezzy. He was going to come back in it. So I'm in the very front, and I'm with my friend, and then he do this pause. I'm like, yo, it's coming back. So John is watching me. I know all his ad-libs, everything. 12 years old. This is a true story. He's watching me. And so he gets to the point, he's like, oh, this kid know my stuff. So in the middle of the show, he handed me the microphone, like doing show up, and I was like, show up. And then the whole crowd just went crazy. And then before the show, I snuck backstage. This is a true story. This right here is one of the craziest stories in the world. I sneak backstage, and I'm hiding out, and I'm just waiting for John to pull up. So he pull up in his charter bus, and they all come walking off. And then as soon as he walk in the building, the security guard see me, and he's like, yo, what are you doing back here? And then John's like, yo, let him stay. And he talked to me for like 5 minutes. It felt like an hour.
Yeah.
He answered every question I had. And I complimented his watch. He took it off and gave it to me. And it still had a price tag on it. It's $19.96, $200. He gave me his watch. And it was like, I see your necklace. It's like, next time I see you, if you ain't got my watch, I'm going to take your necklace. And this is like, just imagine having a conversation with like Michael Jordan or like Michael Jackson. It was that big for me. And then that night I prayed a prayer at 12. And I said, God, if you give me the ability to write and produce like John P. Key, I will only do it for you. I prayed that when I was 12. And my mom said that same night she prayed over me and said, God, like, please just let this kid be able to do music. He loves it so much. And that's it, man.
So
it was
they
like,
always supported
Like Mike.
you.
You remember that movie, Like Mike?
Yeah.
It was like Mike. Like that kid that just get this freakish ability.
Yeah.
It was like that, man, yeah.
So you saying that's basically when the anointing hit you then? Or were you always still a prodigy?
Musical. I was, before that, I was always on keys. I was always musical. I just fell in love with music. My dad died when I was 5. He was 28. And I felt like God gave me music as this, like, alternative. So instead of, like, the streets or anything, I don't have no wild stories like that. It was just, I locked in on music. So even in college, man, I would just sit in my room and produce. So,
what were you doing? Just all gospel in college? Just producing secular stuff?
Nah, all gospel.
You weren't working for other people? Like you never went to a phase where people like, hey, get Travis to come in and put this track together?
I wouldn't do it. So there's a lot of stuff that I did even in those days that people don't even know. Songs I produced from Molly Music, Canton Jones, just different stuff. I was just tracking, man. I was tracking. So, and then to the day, people don't know. That's actually like that's my actual talent. Like, I'm a real
producer.
I'm a real producer.
I saw you working on a song so the song that I saw, it was a reel that I saw Tasha Cobbs at your house working on a song. Is that on your album or her album?
That's on my album.
And so
even on her album, I did a few songs on her album, wrote and produced.
Yes. So on your own album, you produce your whole album.
Yeah, but I use co-producers as well. But yeah, I do a ton of it. A good bit of all the church stuff. Like people, it's funny, folks don't actually even know that I do that. But that's what I did long before I started singing. I'm a real producer.
That's what you enjoy the most.
I kind of enjoy all of it. I do enjoy studio more than performing, though. Yeah, I like writing and producing.
And so, at what point? So you get 21 years old. You get this vision. You like, I'm about to be an artist. How did that take place? How did you get your first record deal? Or did you get yourself a record deal?
No, this is great, Latera. So I was playing keys at a church in college, our college church, and the pastor, I just came and was sitting in the back and he saw me and I guess he knew I played because I played for like the gospel choir at the college. And he was like, oh man. And the pastor was playing keys and leading worship. And he'll get done and preach. And then in his closing, he'll play keys again. So it was like, hey Trav, can you come up here and play? And so he was like, and after service, he was like, yo man, like I really need a keyboard player. I'll pay you $100, to play whenever you can. And he didn't pay me $100 often, but whenever he did, it was a blessing. But
he said he still owed me about
he still owed me
$1,500.
Yeah, he still owed me a little bit. But he gave me a shot. And one day he was walking by and I was on keys and I was just playing around, like just being goofy, just singing something. And he was like, yo, you can really sing. And I was like, well, okay. And he was like, you gonna lead worship? And I was like, he was like Sunday, like you're gonna lead worship.
This Sunday.
Yeah, I was like, and I had just got spirit filled, so I'm serious about God. Like I'm like over the top, like young, passion, zealous. Like I was just like, I was saying yes to everything. There was no hesitation. I was like, bet, all right, cool, I'm gonna lead worship. So I was up there shimmying when I was leading worship. I was an idiot, man. I was seriously. I got footage. It's bad.
You said you were shimmying?
Yeah, I still had the Noop stuff on me. I was up there shimmying, doing worship. I was like, I look like an idiot. It's embarrassing.
I still had that.
Yeah, it was embarrassing, but that's how I started, shimmying and doing worship. Now I used to be on the keyboard, and I just got like spirit filled, so I was like speaking in tongues for the first time. So like it hit me, and I just fall off the keyboard on the floor and be shaking every Sunday. So I did that for like a year. And that's how I started leaving the worship. That's how I started. And he just threw me out there. It was no warm up. Just go.
And then how did your deal come about?
So that's 21. So 22, I graduated. I got hired at a church as a worship leader and youth pastor. So I did that. And then when I'm about, 25, I get my first indie deal with a company up north called Pendulum Records. Mm-hmm. Ruben Rodriguez. So they signed me. And then that would be like 2009, 2010, somewhere around there. And then 2014. So then I put out one album with them. I had like a song that was like, one song that did okay. It was called Still Here. And that was the first time I was like on the radio. So that was like a big deal. Like, oh snap. It was a song that was like, if the devil could kill me, we would have done it by now. And I was nominated for Best New Artist at Stellar's 2011. And so I had another song called Prove My Love. And so it was still like undercurrent.
So your first album, you was nominated?
Yeah, my first well, I did an album in college, right out of college, called The More, and that would have been 2007. And then I probably did about 2 or 3 like underground records. And then yeah, I got signed to a deal, a really bad deal, but with an album called Stretching Out. And then I did another album called Faceless, and they shelved me because I guess they didn't like the return on Stretching Out. So that album never came out. And so, but the songs still live. So some of those songs are on Tamla Man's record.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
that was smart.
I was able to give the songs out. And then 2014, I hit at John Hanna's church in Chicago. And actually, it might have been 2013, 2014. And I do a song called Intentional that I just wrote. And I was going around doing it at churches. Then I come to John Hanna Church. I'm like, yo, I got this song. It's crazy. And it's not released or nothing. I'm shelved as an artist. I'm not doing nothing. And it's a woman there named Deborah Snoopy Hanna. Snoopy, she's a radio promoter. She heard the song afterwards. She's like, yo, I know you're stuck in this deal. She's like, but I'm going to work your record radio pro bono. Go home and record it. So I go home in Charlotte and get in my closet and record, intentional produce and record it. And then...
So you hold on. This is crazy. So you released the song, but that song wasn't even signed to the album? So how does that work? If you're shelved, you just I
just did it. I just did it, and I gave it to her. And I didn't know that she was hired as a contractor for RCA. I had no idea. She was just telling me she was going to do the song on the radio pro bono, and that costs a lot of money.
I know it. That's what I'm saying.
So I was like, bet. So I just gave it to her, and she.
That's crazy.
Yeah, she brought it into a meeting in RCA. And then the GM was like, do whatever it takes to get this kid. So they flew to Charlotte and was like, yo, like, we want to sign you. And they flew me to New York, and they're like, what you want? And I got in the cab. This is pre-Uber. So I was in the cab on the way to RCA to meet at Sony. And I ain't know nothing. I ain't had nothing. I was broke. So I called Kenton Jones. Shout out to K-Joe. And I was like, hey, man, like, what do I need to say in this meeting? And he talked to me all the way from the airport, from LaGuardia, all the way to Sony. And it was like, say this, do this, like, get as much as money you can. And it was like, people be talking about, don't take an advance. It's like, that's stupid. Take the money, because it's like, if they invest, they're going to work
it. They believe it. They got to get
their money back. I was like, all right. It's like, take all the money you can. So I was like, bet. So I did it, and they was like, oh, man, we love the song Intentional. I was like, yo, I'm a writer. I'm a producer. Like, I do this. They're like, okay, blah, blah, blah. I was like, I don't think y'all understand. Like, that's not my best work. Like,
And you really felt like that?
Yeah. I was like, yo, like, I do this. I mean, you got to think, at this time, I'm 2014, I would have been, like 28 or something, 30. I'm 30. So at this time, from 22 to 30 after college, I got 8 years of a runway. So all I've been doing is just cranking out music and producing and writing. So I'm like...
And for other artists.
Yeah, I'm like, y'all, I'm good. And they was like, okay, well, we really like Intentional. So they signed me.
Like, whatever.
They signed me in like, it would have been probably like July. So I get signed. They buy out my old contract and do like a under-table deal with that label, buy it out, and I'm able to get out of that deal, come to RCA, and yeah, that's how it happened, man. Then they come down, they came down from the headquarters of Charlotte for my live recording, and then they heard Made Away, and I was like, oh, wait a minute. I was like, yo, I told y'all, like I got some good stuff. They was like, yo, this stuff is really good. And then it was just out of here. And so Intentional came out, and the moment it dropped on radio, the moment it went on iTunes, it was just over. It was the #1 record in multiple countries.
For a long time.
Yeah, not just in America, but in multiple countries.
For a long time.
Yeah, it was a big deal, and that's how it happened, man. And it was awesome.
I heard that when you go overseas, when you go to Africa, it's just a different world for you. Did you just think about it? You from Georgia.
I'm from Georgia.
And you have a song that takes the world by storms, but then you go, and I'm telling you, they say that when you go to Africa, it's like Michael Jackson. Is that true?
It's true.
What did you think when you went there and you see yourself singing in front of audiences you can't even number?
I was shocked. You know, I still remember my first time I went to a concert in Nigeria, and it was an outdoor show. And at the time, it would have been like the biggest show that I did. So it probably was like 10,000, which, you know, and this would have been probably like 2016, something like that. 2015, 2016. So it was a lot of people. I was like, man, there's a lot of people. Dang, they know the music. That's crazy. And it still didn't really dawn on me. Then I went to Ghana, which is where my father-in-law is. And that's where my wife's dad is from. So I go to Ghana. I'm in Accra. I'm at this church there. And they brought me in, and it's called Empowerment. It's an amazing church there, Prophet Gideon Danso. And when I go up to sing, and I'll just travel, you know, at this time, I'm just happy to be going. So it's just like 4 of us. It's me, a manager who actually, he was like my role manager, but he worked at Benedict College, you know, just a homie. And then my keyboard player and the drummer. That was it. And we just go over to Africa. We go to Africa.
On tour.
Yeah, we go into Africa. So we go in, and when I get up, and I'm singing, I'm not even singing like the big records. You know what I mean? Yeah, I'm not even doing, I mean, of course, Intentional and Made It Where are in the show, but I'm doing other songs like You Got Up and Here For You and Just Want You and The Hill. And every song I'm singing, they know word for word. I'm like, oh, snap. Like, at this point now, I'm getting nervous. I'm like, this is crazy.
Yeah.
So then I'm invited to go to the show. It's called The Experience. And now I've done it like 10 years. But The Experience is the largest gospel concert on the planet. It's 800 to 1 million people. So
hold on. How do you get 800 to 1 million people at a concert?
Yeah, so it's like 3 soccer stadiums, jam-packed, and everything in between. And so it's just, you know.
Just people just standing out there.
Yeah. So however far your eyes can see, that's the amount of people. So I get there. And Donnie McClurkin has been just, I mean, he has been an angel, man, for me from day one. So we're talking like back in like 2011, you know, something like that. Like, I mean, just he's always been in my corner. Probably even 2010, I would say. He's always just been in my corner, been super supportive. He used to have a radio show in New York. I don't know if you remember, but he had the Donnie McClurkin radio show, and he would play my first single, Still Here, and he loved it. For some reason, he just loved it. He's like, I love this song. So it was like #1 on his radio show. He just loved it. New York loved that song for some reason. Donnie, Liz Black, like all them folks, man, they just, Roscoe, like they just showed mad love to this song.
It's called Favorite, boy.
I know, man. I know. It was crazy. And so I go to this concert. Donnie's been doing it now from the very beginning of the experience. He's been doing it from the beginning. So I go, and I'm just like a fly on the wall. So it's me, Donnie, Smokey, Cece, and I'm like, yo, like, you know, I gospel for me is everything. Yeah. Right? So I don't care. I've met secular people. They don't.
Yeah.
Like, they be funny to me. The fact that they think they're famous is funny to me. I'm just like, fam, get out of here. Like,
he said the fact that they think.
Yeah, it be funny to me. I'm like, oh, okay. You know, like, but gospel, I'll be like, yo, man, that is Kirk Franklin. Like I just geek out. Like, that's Ty, that's Iz, you know. So I'm like, man, it's Donnie, this Smokey, this Cece, like they royalty. So I'm chilling. And then Donnie comes up to me, and we're like at the hotel, and we eat dinner because he's just so gracious and he's just always been in my corner. And he's like, yo, Travis, like, I just want you to know, like, you know, I've been doing this for several years. You know, there's gonna be this amount of people. And he tells me this, it's like, yo, like, they're most excited about seeing you. And I'm a jokester. I mean, you know me. Yeah, so I'm like, I'm like, okay, Donnie, okay. Yeah, you're freaking Donnie McClurkin. Like, ain't nobody thinking about little Travis from Georgia. Like, come on, man. You're being kind. Like, thank you. He's like, no, I'm serious. Like, I see how serious. Like, he's like dead. Like, you giving them red Brooklyn Jamaican eyes. He's like, I'm serious. Like, they're here. Like, they're coming. They're most excited about seeing you. And I was like, what? And he's like, yo. And then we go to dinner, he starts crying. And he's like, yo, like, I've been scared to retire because I've been searching for who's next. And I asked the Lord, like, who's next? And he said, and the Lord showed me you. And I was like, is it really him or should I search for another? And it was like, yo, like, this international mantle is on you. Like,
facts.
And I mean, the dude is like sobbing. And I'm like, what? Like, I'm still like trying to like figure out like, like, what are we doing?
Because you're literally talking to the Donnie McClurkin.
Yeah, I just can't believe it, man. Then I go and like, the moment I start, just boom, I'm like, what in the world? I mean, you can't.
Yeah.
There's no real like. It doesn't make sense.
Yeah.
What happens over there, man, and how this has like just taken a win, and it's been like in phase. So like Don Mowing was like one of the first waves of revival for that region, and then Donnie McClurkin would have been like the second wave, and like for like this gen, like God really used me, and like there's so many people who like walk with God has been like connected to the music that He's allowed me to do, specifically in that region. And I mean, we've had impact in America, but it's different. It's just really different over there.
Why do you think that is?
I don't know. I can't explain.
Have you ever just sat down and talked to somebody over there and said, why do y'all resonate with me so heavy? I
don't think they know. It's supernatural. It's supernatural. If I had to give an answer, Lateris, I know you like answers. I would say I really think I think it's based on trust, right? I think God has more tolerance regionally than He does internationally, and I think there's things that you can do successfully within a scope and get away with being reckless or being dirty. And international, God is very picky. He's very picky. And those who last, I'm not talking about those who rock it off. I'm talking about those who last internationally are typically those who are wired just a little different. And you have to be clothed in humility. You have to know it's not you.
Yes. You
have to know that. You have to not be a slave to convenience. Because no matter how hot the reels look, it's a lot of inconvenience in international travel. I just think, and I think I graduated with God to get into the trust zone. I teach that there's 3 different zones, and I actually talk about it in my book. But I think to be loved by God is one that many people park and get stuck on. Man, I'm loved by God, and that's great, right? But you can love anybody. To be used by God, that's like the next one, and that's where, man, in the 90s that was big. Like, I want to be used by God. You can use anything, Lord. You can use me.
That's the song.
Well, you can love your cousin and you can use a plumber, but that doesn't mean you trust him with your American Express. I think the highest level with God is trust. And for me, man, I want to be trusted by God, not just used by Him and not just loved by Him, but trusted. And so what must be true? I got to be a steward. I got to be a good steward. I got to be faithful. I got to be committed. I got to be ready. And I just have to live a sacrificial life. And not, this is not me trying to say that I'm self-righteous or anything like that, because it's really grace. But I think there's certain things in my life that I've done and that I continue to do that allow me to be trusted by God.
You have a new album out. You released it when this drops, it'll probably be 2 months at this point, which was in August. What was the mindset, the heart posture that you took in creating this album?
This one is unique, man, because the Lord, so I only do stuff, especially music, if I feel like a wind on it. It's weird. I can't just like turn it on. It has to be like a wind and a word from God, and then I have this grace to do it. And for this one in particular, what's great now, my deal with RCA has been done now for a couple years. And so I'm indie, and that's great because I don't have any bar. I don't have an aim. I don't have there's no pressure whatsoever. It's just, and I love it. I've turned down deals since. I have no interest really in being in a deal because now I just work off of inspiration.
So why you say you don't have no interest in being in a deal? To get the money, like Ken Jones told you at the very beginning. Just go and get that advance.
You want me to be honest?
Yeah.
I don't need it.
There it is. It's called freedom, people.
Yeah.
It's called the power of freedom.
Yeah, I talk to younger, people who need it, and I'm like, if you need it, right?
Yeah.
It was very helpful because I was broke at the time, and I was able to kind of, establish, get my stuff started with my family and stuff. So when you don't have anything, the advance and that money, but when you understand, it's really just a loan.
It is.
So anything in business,
you're gonna get it back.
It's a loan, and there's nobody who's gonna loan you money without the interest being in their favor. It doesn't exist. There's no loan that's in your favor. So I'm giving me this money, but then you're gonna take 85%. I'm only making 15% royalties when I can flop it and make 85% of ownership and give a distro company 15-20%. So I don't mind that, and I just have complete ownership now, and I don't need the money.
Absolutely.
God has done enough now with the music that I've done and all that stuff to where I'm comfortable, and I'm straight. That's the real reason.
That's good. That's
if I was on hard times, it's like, okay, cool.
Hey,
I'll do what I need to do, but I'm good. Yeah.
And so, go ahead. What's the name of this album?
So the name of the album is Made in the South. And man, the Lord, it was weird, man. The Lord told me, he was like, yo, I want you to make a non-traditional gospel album. And I was like, what? And he was like, yo, I want you to make a missional album. Make this album, this was a specific wording, for the brother or sibling that won't come to church.
That's good.
And I was like, you know me, dog. I'm a worshiper. I'm a tongue-talking, laying hands, make no apology for the word of God.
We just got a service.
Fam, I'm a go, and I'll go on my records. I don't care. Let's go, right?
As it should be.
So, so it took an extreme amount of restraint for this album. Even in my studio sessions while we were writing and producing, we did a lot of it in Nashville. And when I was in the studio, it was like, yo, man, let's pull back on some of this language. We can't. So I was trying to think through the lens of someone who has no context. So we couldn't put words like the blood. We couldn't put, overly used stuff, because I was like, okay, someone may miss that. We got to dumb it down. And so that was very deliberate, and it took a ton of restraint on this album. But the goal was to be able to reach really people who weren't reached yet. And I think sometimes in the church, that's why I love your platform and what you do so much, because I think sometimes in the church we're guilty of fishing in an aquarium. We're trying to catch who's already caught. And there's really a world out here of people who, in culture, who don't know this guy. They just don't. And it ain't like it was when we grew up.
At all.
When we grew up, if you was black, you been to church.
Absolutely.
Period.
Absolutely.
You been to church. Your grandma took you. You went to church on Easter. You went Mother's Day. You been to church.
Drugged to church.
Everybody in my high school, every black person in my high school had a history of church. Everyone. Being unchurched wasn't even a thing. It was I don't go anymore, but I grew up with
and they say I don't go anymore because I always had to go my whole life.
But now, man, you'll catch a 20-year-old fam that's never been.
Yep.
I have no idea who David and Goliath is. And I'm like, what?
Yep.
So there's people out here who just don't know this God and just don't have this context. And so what are we doing for them? Mm-hmm. And not being so stuck in our boxes that we're reaching who's already reached. And so this album was intentional about that. And so even the features and those choices were.
I was about to ask you, go and drop some of them features that's on there.
Man, we got Jennifer Hudson. That was a thrill. I was able to do live studio with her in LA, and that was so much fun.
How was that?
Oh man, she is everything she purports to be, man. Just a kind heart, beautiful soul, beautiful person. She was so gracious. She loved all my boys and just treated them so kind. But that was so fun working with her, man. Andra Day, same thing. That's a God-fearing woman. She's real deal.
Really?
Oh, man. Even in our video shoot, she was laying hands on
Really?
Yeah, on a makeup artist and praying over people. She was convicting me. I was like, she praying for real. People tell me to pray for them. It's quick 60 second, Lord bless them, do what you do, let your will be done. She was going in, 5 minutes, holding up the whole shoot praying for me. I was like, Oh, she for real.
I love it.
Yeah, so she stayed for real. But it was so fun doing this record. And she's so musical. Man, she's a freak. She like really sings. So she's really musical. So that was dope. Johnny McReynolds, who again, he's a musical, man.
And what's the song y'all got that's running around right now on social media?
Mad.
What's the name of that song?
Mad. Yeah.
Yeah.
I actually wrote that song. It's probably the oldest song I got on the record that I wrote, but then I kind of redid it. With in the studio with Austin and Hank,
yeah, I love that.
We got Johnny Mac, we got Tasha Cobbs Leonard, of course. That's my sister.
Yeah.
So we got a hitter on there as well called Big Heart. We got Limo Blaze, who is he's from Nigeria, but he's an amazing hip hop artist. Chevelle Franklin from Jamaica, she's the bomb.com. We got Lecrae Moore, that's my brother, really close friend of mine, but love that dude so much, a lot of love. Got a girl, she's from our worship team here, her name is Rocky. She did a song with me called Hoes, and she's a creative and just incredible. We got Forward City on there, Maverick City Music on there. Ton of features, but the album's called Made in the South, and really just going back to my roots. And I wanted it's dirty. I talked to Devon Franklin. He said the album tastes like whiskey. That's what he told me about the album. I don't know if I'm supposed to say that, but that's what he told me. He said it's just
dirty.
Yeah, it's dirty.
So why is it when they say that when you're outside looking in, because you had to be in this space where you had to shake off your church clothes, then what do you feel like they're saying?
I'm honored because that's what we were going for. I wanted to feel juke joint. So I did different things with my voice intentionally.
Really?
Yeah, like even the way I approach some of the songs, like the song that I did, Home Sweet Carolina, you know what I mean?
Give me an example, vocally. What?
So instead of doing like, you move mountains, you know what I mean? It's like, I heard it's wild out west. New York don't get no rest. They think they know what's best. Big city living, take me down to the south.
I like this.
Green grass growing on the ground. Deep roots, small towns. Take me down to, so it's like just playing different things with my voice. And then,
so you had fun, didn't you?
I had fun. The song I did with Andrew Day, same thing. I was like, yo, I'm feeling Sam Cooke today. Like, let's go all the way. So we did a song with her called Let Freedom Ring. And it was the same thing, like just growl. Like, I just wanted to capture like the pain of the 60s, you know what I mean?
Made in the South.
Yeah, so it was a bunch of like John Legend vibrato on that song. Yeah. But yeah, I just did different stuff to really be true to whatever the song desired. And yeah, a lot of creativity.
So this one, you produced the whole thing too, or you had some co-producers on it?
Co-producers, yeah. So Hank Bentley, who is he is Brandon Lake, he is David Crowder, and he is honky tonk white, like Nashville, like I'm talking about through and through. But just a vibe. There's another guy, Austin Davis, who is he's from Hawaii, Cali, so he's like all West Coast. A white guy, but he give you this Pacific feel, and but he's a drummer and producer. So really, the three of us did majority of the record together, and it was just a melting pot of just ideas and fun. You know what I mean? And they was really shocked, I think, as well about just my creativity, because like there's like, all right, let's do a demo, and most of the demos became the real song because I just walked up to the mic and I was like,
all right, that's good.
Bro, that was really like, what did we just do? And so, literally,
I was done.
Yeah, I was like, that's it. And but it was just fun. We had a bunch of fun, man, and it's special. It's a super creative album. At the Stellars, I did a listening party with BMI, with my sister and my friend Catherine Bruton at BMI, and everybody came through. Erica Campbell, David and Tamala, Donnie came through, Tasha came through, Dion Kipping, Dolly, I mean everybody. I can't even begin. And Molly, I mean the who's who, everybody came through and showed mad love.
And what did they say? What was some of the feedback?
Oh man, everybody just flipping out about really just the creativity. It's so creative. Like the album is so creative. It's so audacious, like, and it's out the box. And then we have fun. We do a big conference here every year called Engage Culture. And on the night that Ty Tribbett preached, I did an album release, but also a live recording. And so we're putting that out as well. It may be out already actually when we release this, but it's called Made in the South Deluxe. So it's a live version, and then we got footage, and I'm up there with the dancers, and we got choreography. And,
oh, really?
Yeah, we went all the way, man.
So is that where you said the remix to You Waited?
Yeah, we did a remix to You Waited. We did a remix to See the Light. We did a remix to Made Away. And just fun, man. And just expressing my creativity. It was funny, man. When I first started in music, I used to hate when people said that they were an artist. And it's like, no, you're a worshiper. You're not an artist. The world got enough artists. We're worshipers. We're worshipers.
You're real saved, huh?
Yeah, I was too saved. And I think just the older I get, man, like I actually love that I'm artistic, and I feel like as believers we need more artistic expression. That it don't just have to be what works on radio. And if you've been following my career, everything that I've done, like, was in a sense trailblazing. Now I'm not saying I'm the originator of stuff. To me, that's reserved for Kirk and John and Fred. And then the next class would be Iz, Dietrich, and Ty. Then the next class would be me, John, and Tasha, and Kiki. But so
you said that perfectly. That is actually true.
And there's other names. Delaney would be in our class. I mean, there's other people as well. But so and the Ericas would be with Ty and them. So the Marys. So I wouldn't say that I'm like an originator or anything like that, but I think for our generation, I did do something to pave a way, and I think even for our generation, everything that I did, there was nothing like it.
Absolutely.
You know what I mean? There was nothing like Intentional on the radio.
Nope.
There was nothing like You Made Away. There was nothing like You Waited. There was nothing like at this point, I think I've had like 5 or 6 that went number 1, and none of them, any one of them was like, oh snap, we didn't even know that was possible.
Yep.
And so I think this album is the same. We're going to radio with Touched by Fire with me and Jennifer Hudson, and it's the same. It's like there's nothing like it.
So when people hear it, would they think it's a gospel song, or they just think it's just a?
I don't think for most of my records people knew where to categorize it anyway. Like really think about now we're like 7 years removed.
Yeah, because we know you.
Think about You Waited.
That's what I said.
That was not a gospel. Like people was like, this sounds like Rockfield. Like there was nothing like real, like when gospel artists put guitars in their music, it was always just a guitar solo and kind of overly done. It was like, okay, it felt like you hired somebody in to play on top of a record. My music was like, oh, he actually plays guitar, and these guys are actually in his band, and they really do this. So it was really authentic, and because that's how I grew up. I grew up in a very diverse environment, and so even when You Waited, people didn't know where to place it. It was like, is this a rock or the man? Like, You Waited, what's happening with these guitars? Like, what's going on? So I think all the time, my expression has always been unique, and it's like, oh man, we don't really know where to place it. And so I like that. And I don't do it just to be different. I do it just to be true to who I am in that particular season. And I let the industry be the industry. I'm not trying to fit a box. I'm just trying to be me, man.
Well, what's the best way to support an artist? Now you can call yourself an artist. What is the best way to support it? Because a lot of times with streaming, you see, people feeling like, oh, I listen to it. I listen to the channel on YouTube where they're streaming the music. I go listen to it on Spotify. What is the best way to support an artist?
Well, the game has just changed so much now, man. I mean, streaming is different. It's changed the game a lot, man. If I was doing this in the 90s,
you'd be struggling.
No, I would be rich.
Why? You think you make more off of streaming than just buying an album?
No, you make more off buying albums.
I know it.
But I'm saying they didn't have a choice back then. They had to go to like Circuit City, or y'all remember that? They had to go to like FYE. Man, them boys was making money, man. Commission, John, man, they made money. Fam, they was selling them records, man, $15 a pop.
I know it.
And that was making $10 a record. Can you imagine that?
Yeah.
That means if I sold 1 million, fam. What, man, that is that's so much money. Man, them labels was making so much money. And then the artists who were smart, the Johns of the world, because he owned his masters, man, them boys made crazy money. So today, it just changed, man. Because, we're doing millions in streams, but we don't see that. We don't see it translate. So I'd say you support by touring concerts, you know what I mean?
So you look at the album as just PR for your concert?
Yeah, I mean, they do all right. You know what I mean? I'm not gonna tell you a sad story and be like, it just ain't doing what it was. And I mean, that's the same thing as secular. Like, Jermaine Dupri and all them boys, man, they was making so much money that was happening back then. So it's just not the same. So you just gotta be smart with how you do it. But platforms, you know what I mean? Owning your stuff, you can support artists. YouTube does well. Streaming, if you really lock in and stream. But
locking and telling people to go buy this album right now. Can we say that?
Yeah, but they're not gonna do it. So it's kind of pointless. Like no one's really gonna be like, okay, I'm gonna go to iTunes and pay $10 for an album when I can stream it on Apple Music. So
that's what I'm saying. Why is it like that? What is in it for the artist though?
The day has changed. I mean, is the love of it. That's even why most record labels are struggling, because the day is it's changed, man. They're not getting their money back. You know what I mean? It's just a new day. So I think streaming, you could do, especially YouTube does well. YouTube does well. So if they're streaming on that does well. And streaming the record, I mean, it just is what it is at this point. What it is. But support, if an artist is in their region, you can really help them out a ton by supporting. Because that's real. Those are real dollars. Yeah. So if you can support them on tour or concert, or if you see an artist of yours that's like that's promoting a tour, like buy the ticket and buy it early and buy a couple of them. That's very, very, very helpful, because that just translate, and people still, especially in gospel specifically, what has hurt our community even in touring is that we procrastinate. So our people will be like, well, I'll just wait until like the week before.
Please talk about
But that doesn't help at all, because then you have the promoters who then don't believe in the artist.
They're on cancel show before you get there.
Yeah, and then you're canceling. So a lot of tours are canceling, and it's because our people are procrastinating to buy tickets. And we promote them, 9 months in advance, and it's like, I'll wait. But the faster you can get the ticket, the more likely the show can happen.
And it's crazy because when it's a secular artist, it's going to sell out.
Even CCM, they don't procrastinate
at all.
They hear it on K-Love.
They're going to buy it right there.
Yeah, Brandon Lake is coming to town. Man, them tickets sold out. And Forrest Frank, them tickets sold out in days. You know what I mean?
The whole tour.
Yeah, it's sold out. They just going to buy them. And with us, they're like, well, my worship leaders sing as good as, whatever. I'm just going, I don't know why we do that. So you want to talk about support tours. That helps a lot.
Support tours.
Yeah.
Do you have another tour coming up?
I don't know, man. I'm gonna tell you another reason I did this album. Tasha Cobbs Leonard, my best friend, my big sister. We got 20 years together, and she came here and she literally rebuked me. She called me in my office. We was in there for like 90 minutes. She's like, I need to talk to you, bro. I went there. She's like, yeah, the Lord told me you got to come out of retirement and you got to do music, and it's something you could do that no one else could do. And I'm like, yo. So it actually turned into like a therapy session. So
did you actually feel like you retired?
Yeah. Yeah, for sure.
So you were done?
I wouldn't say done. I mean, the thrill has passed in a sense. So, and what it is, the Lord just delivered me from ambition, and it just ain't there no more, So going to do a show, I'm not excited.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It's like it's and I don't want to sound ungrateful, but like the excitement used to be, oh snap, we about to get on a plane. Now it's like, dang, we gotta get on a plane. Dang, I'm not gonna be in my bed. Dang, I'm not gonna have my food. Dang, and my wife might not be there.
Yeah.
So now I count the cost a little differently. So I say that's one part of it.
And you had this amazing ministry at Forest City.
And I got Forest City. Yeah. And then for me, like even like writing music and producing music for the house, like even today in our service, they were able to, every Sunday they're singing songs that I was able to help write. And so for me, that's a high for me. So like that for me, any itch that I've had for for it, I'm fulfilled. And then I still get to write, you know. Tasha was so gracious. I was able to write multiple songs on her record.
So you still get a chance to
Yeah,
to
Tamala, I write on all her records, and JJ and James Fortune. I mean, the list goes on. So artists will reach out to me to be able to write and produce on their records. So I do that still, but just like going around and like, nah, tour bus miss me personally.
Yeah.
You know, it's just I've been there, done that.
Like I said, and
I'm a dad.
20
That's
years.
the other big thing.
Exactly.
I'm
when
a
you
dad.
leave and you missing out on those.
Yeah,
those moments
I want to
with your
be there
kids.
for my kids, man. I want to Friday I flew in and out of California on the same day.
What?
Yeah. I flew to Cali. I flew to Sacramento Friday morning. I preached Friday night and immediately got on a red eye and flew back because my son's birthday was on that Saturday. So I landed and came straight. My wife was doing a women's thing here at the church. I landed, went home, took a shower, came here to support her, and then we went from here to my son's birthday party. And so when you talk about like going out to do stuff, it's expensive, man.
Yeah.
It costs way more than I make to do anything. So, but at the same time, it is a burden. I understand that there's an international mandate on my life.
Absolutely.
And a mantle. So when God tells me to do stuff, He gives me the wind and the grace to do it. But it's strictly off of Word of God. It ain't off nothing else. And I can say that with a pure heart. It ain't off of money. It ain't off of stage. It ain't off of none of that stuff. It's just the Word of God.
As we wrap up, this book came out last year, right?
Yeah.
Are you praying for the wrong thing? You were supposed to be on Dear Future Wifey podcast.
I know, man.
Yeah.
My schedule, they messed up my schedule with that. I remember that.
Yeah, you were supposed to come. I wanted you and
remember
Jackie
that.
to come. And they was like, well, can he
Texas.
come another time? Yeah, he came to Texas. So now we're gonna talk about this real briefly as we wrap up. Are you praying for the wrong thing? What was the heart of this book?
Man, you know, for me, what I'm talking about, so I've never done a drug in my life other than ibuprofen, ever. So I'm not a drinker. I don't, you know. So for me, I've never had like a drug or substance abuse addiction or anything like that. My addiction was vain ambition. And what happened was
vain ambition.
It was vain ambition because what happened was, when you grow up in an environment like me, I grew up in a prophetic environment, and so it was a spoiler alert from my entire life. It was like, that little kid on the organ, the Lord told me you're gonna travel the world and do this. That kid over there on the keyboard, every revival I was prophesied to, every single one, it just became old news. It was like, we know, the whole church be like, we know he's the one, right?
Yeah.
So with that, I got Joseph syndrome.
By the way, I'm taking this, right?
Yeah, it's yours.
Okay, thanks.
I got Joseph syndrome. Is that like you got this word in you, but what do you do with the tension of I have this word in between the word being in you and the manifestation? Joseph had 13 years of having to wrestle this thing out. Same with David, right? You're anointed king, but there's going to be years before you walk this out.
Yeah.
So what do you do in that time? And man, that's what this book is about. So I was praying for stuff, and I was praying for, even for this church, I used to be praying for a bigger building and more people. And I was frustrated, like, God, like, why won't you do it? Even with my music career, like, I'm praying for platform and stages and stuff. And the Lord was like, Trav, you've been praying for the wrong thing. like, don't pray for stuff, pray for strategy. Like, don't pray.
Don't pray for stuff. Pray for strategy.
Yeah, man. Pray for wisdom. Pray for, just pray for like my presence more than you do for my things. And so for me, I shifted, and this verse really is really what the book is rooted in. And the verse said, if you delight yourself in the Lord, He'll give you the desires of your heart. And that verse has been misinterpreted by so many people.
Go ahead, break it down. People
think that verse means that when He says He'll give you the desires of your heart, people think that means that God will give you what you want. That's not what the verse means, Lateris.
Break it down.
It doesn't mean that God will give you what you want. It means that God will give you what to want.
That part.
And when you delight yourself in Him, then you can be trusted with His desires being in your heart.
Absolutely.
And so, man, I was praying for what I wanted, and then instead of like praying, God, give me your desires for me and allow me to learn contentment here. And so in this book, I really walk you through how to get it's not a book on prayer. It's really a book on stewardship and alignment. And God, prepare me and help me to be prepared for the place you're going to take me, because the difference between a blessing and a burden is preparation. So if God give you what you want out of time and you're not prepared for
it's
it,
like a burden.
It's a burden. Yeah, so that's the book.
Ooh, that's good. It says, if you're looking for a book that gives you just the right language to speak to God, the rules for prayer, or the rhythm of prayer, this is not a book like that. This is not a book about when to pray or where or why or for how long. No, this is a book about you. This is a book about why your prayers go unanswered. It's a book about why your anguished cries to God sometimes seem to go unheard. Make no mistake, God hears you. He loves you. He wants to do amazing, life-changing things in your life. His plan is beyond anything you could ever imagine. Once you align your plans with his, you'll start praying for the right thing. Then you'll see those prayers become reality.
Yes, sir.
I love it. Are you praying for the wrong thing? Learn to ask what God wants for you, not just what you want. That's good. Make sure you get this book right now.
Yes, sir.
Travis Greene, Are You Praying for the Wrong Thing? That's amazing.
Thank you, my guy.
Listen, Travis, we got to get ready to wrap up. Got to catch the flight. Thank you so much for sitting down, having a conversation with me on Dear Future Wifey podcast. Again,
congrats on your engagement.
There it is. Thank you. And I wish you could you could come to the wedding, but you're going to be touring and doing shows, and you got engagements that you got going on.
I wish too, man.
Yeah, we'd have fun. I'll put you on stage. You were saying you waited while my bride walked down the aisle.
I would have loved that. I would have loved that.
That'd have been amazing. But let me tell you something, Travis. One thing that I do like about you is the fact that you do have a servant's heart. You have a heart to please God. Wow. Even when I watch you interact with the members of your church, your members actually, you relate to them. It's not like you let me stand here. I got my armor bearers, my entourage protecting me from the people. You just Travis. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. And not even so much as they call you Pastor Travis. They just call you PT. Like you from the hood. What's up, PT? What's up? You know what I'm saying? And so I love the culture that's here. One of the things that I admire is the fact that you're doing something so right, because the generation has been lost by statistics. They say that young people aren't going to church. Mm-hmm. Like you just said that when we grew up, everybody went to church. Well, this generation, they're not. And what I witnessed in your sanctuary at Forward City Church is that this church is full of young people. Mm-hmm. So let me ask you this, if you even know the answer. What is the median age of your church?
The last time I heard, I want to say it was actually 30s, like early 30s, so around like 33. Yep.
And with other churches, it's probably like mid 40s or something. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? That's why I said it's so beautiful what you're doing. So I know God's grace is over your life, over Jackie's life, to minister to this lost generation, because Forward City is the remnant. Is going to be able to help save this young generation so that they can push this generation forward.
Wow.
This in. Let me ask you this before I wrap up. I keep saying I'm wrapping up, but I'm intrigued. Yeah. Where did Forward City come from?
Oh, man. So 2013, this is a big year. The same year I wrote Intentional. But 2013, I was in Atlanta airport, walking through the airport, and I just felt, the only thing I could describe it as is a holy burden, right? It reminds me of the letter that you wrote for Dear Future Wifey. You just get this revelation and this burden, and I was like, man, yo. I was in the airport and I looked up. I was like, yo. I just felt like the Lord was like, you're going to start a church. And I remember, I was like, no, that's not what I want to do. No, I don't want to do that. And so many people were like, oh, I want to be a pastor. I want to be up there. And I was like, no, I'm good. Like, I want to just come and go as I please, just pop around. And so I called my wife. I was like, yo, you think we'll start a church? Just standing at Atlanta airport. She's like, yeah, I've always known. I just waiting on God to tell you. I was like, what? I get on the airplane. I'm flying from Atlanta to Charlotte. And the whole flight, I'm shaking, just shaking. And God just downloading vision. Much of what you saw today in our church is like what God was showing me. And I'm just shaking. And I'm seeing all this stuff. And I'm like, yo, this is crazy. So then I get home. We start praying about a church name. The first name I write down is Forward. I write down a bunch of other church names. And I'm like, Forward is overused. I go to a website, forwardchurch.com, and I'm like, see, it already exists. That's not our church name. So then the next day I wake up and I was like, yo, man, I can't shake this Forward thing. And the Lord says, go back to the website. Go back to forwardchurch.com, and there's a church in Alabama. And the pastors aren't even the pastors anymore, and I think the church actually changed the name. But at the time, the pastor's name was Travis and Jackie Strickland. And I was like, all right, well, lead pastors Travis and Jackie. I was like, well, this is the church, Forward. And I was a youth pastor in Charlotte, and I told my pastor about it, and he was like, what about Forward City? I was like, City? And I was like, I like that. That's Forward City. And that's literally, so it happened. The Lord gave me Forward, and then God used a dear friend of mine, Pastor Show, to They give me the city, and here we go, Forward City.
I love it, man. Listen, congratulations on all that you're doing in your life. Blessings to you and your family. Make sure that y'all go out, support the album. I don't care what you say, Travis. Go buy the album. I don't care what y'all say.
Buy it. Go now to Walmart and get it off the shelf, please.
Go get it. Just go get the album. Do something old school. And the reason why I said that is because Cardi B running around selling her album.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? And she's creating something, a hype where Walmart was dropping off the album like old school stuff. And I said, why can't we have that in the body of Christ? You know, it broke a record. It went to the Guinness Book of World Records for the most delivered item over that week. And I said, this is crazy. So go buy this album.
Yeah.
Go buy the album. Go buy the album. Go buy the album. And make sure while you're at it, go and pick up this book too. Or are you praying for the wrong thing? Listen, thank you so much, Travis. Thank you for all that you're doing. I love you, bro. Y'all give it up for my brother, Travis Greene, y'all.
Much love.
Ladarian thrusted suddenly into Child Protective Services in 2015. My nephew, black, a boy. The likelihood of being adopted outside of kinship, slim to none. Armani, 16 years old, black, a boy, with 5 years in the foster care system before I even knew his name. The likelihood of ever being adopted, yep, you guessed it, slim to none. While Ladarian and Armani were trying to survive and barely thrive in an overpopulated and underfunded foster care system, I was living my own life, doing well professionally. Having been a single father with a daughter who at that point was doing well in college, it was my time to live my life, right? Wrong. I felt unsettled, tireless, agitated. There are just too many of our black children stuck in ambiguity and in the limbo of the foster care system. In 2017, I legally adopted my nephew, Ladarian. Fast forward to 2019, I had no ties to this other young king, but I felt God instructed me to adopt him also, and I obeyed. Starting over with parenting should have been enough, right? Working with various foster care and adoption agencies to help bring awareness to the countless young black kings in the foster care system should have decreased my agitation, right? Joining the board of directors of Advantage Adoption, an organization that helps find permanent adoptive homes for children in foster care, should have led to some type of resolve, right? No, not at all. None of it felt like I had done enough. I now realize that every one of those experiences was laying the fundamental foundation for my life's mission, Kingdom Royale. Kingdom Royale will be a luxury, state-of-the-art home for foster boys. Our first location will be in the Dallas-Fort Worth Metroplex. We will utilize the whole person approach that instills identity, empowers them to advocate for themselves, and enlightens them regarding new perspectives and limitless options that they thought were impossible. Though the young kings will attend the local public schools that are in proximity to Kingdom Royale, our at-home curriculum will broaden their worldview through participating in the arts, attending various cultural events, learning about and engaging in multifaceted discussions about current events and even relevant historical contexts, introducing them to gardening and landscaping and even caring for our animals on our farm and on-site stables. We just launched our Startup Capital campaign with the goal of raising $2.8 million. Now, why $2.8 million? Well, in 2017, I created a web series in which I performed random acts of kindness for targeting the homeless community. One of the most notable successes was that one of the videos went viral, garnering 28 million views. However, one of my biggest regrets is that I didn't raise a single dollar to help in implementing a more sustainable plan for the homeless community. So throughout the years, with much remorse, I reflected on not maximizing that moment. I knew if at that time, just 10% of the viewers donated $1, we would have raised at least $2.8 million that could have really established long-term support for the homeless community, or at least started a long-term initiative to do so. This is my do-over. This is our new beginning. Together, we can attack this at the root by specifically helping our homeless black boys who are already disproportionately represented in the American foster care system. I'm Travis Whitfield. I've been nominated for 3 regional Emmys documenting my work with the homeless as well as my personal adoption journey. Despite those accolades, the greatest award for me is truly providing the infrastructure for a transformed life. Visit kingdomroyale.com for more details. Crown a king and make a donation today.
I hope you enjoyed this episode of the Dear Future Wifey podcast. Remember, be lit, live intentionally and transparently, and don't stop loving. Make sure to subscribe to our Dear Future Wifey YouTube channel. We're available on Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, Spotify, and Stitcher. We welcome your support. Simply share our podcast with your friends and family.